Good morning, everybody. You're very welcome to our transdisciplinary cluster this morning. I have some slides that I'd like to share with you. If you just bear with me a moment. Thank you very much. So a big welcome to you and thank you for joining us this morning. A key focus on the educational mission of Charmy as the university. So you'll have seen in this morning's session that we discussed transdisciplinarity and how to engage with you, members of our extra academic actors network in society, in traditional enterprise and social enterprise, and indeed our student population. So I'd just like to talk to you this morning with my colleagues Jake Byrne and Jan Harhus about our educational approach within Charmy U. So Charmy U, in essence, is a university model, a transdisciplinary university model, which we're piloting through a master's program. So my own background is I'm a research associate in Trinity College Dublin, and I focus on transdisciplinary university and curriculum design. So at the heart of our mission, and I know that a lot of you that are with us today will have experience in transdisciplinarity, or this may be a term that's new to you for the first time. And there are lots of competing definitions about transdisciplinarity, but it's actually something quite simple. It means that those of us within the university sector are actively engaging with you around the university sector, in society, in our communities, in our policy-making organizations, to take action to solve global challenges. So what we believe in Charmy U is that we need to focus on challenges together. We need to master complexity and indeed educate students to be able to master complexity, to work with multiple disciplines, so to bring our disciplines together, to be action-oriented and to work with extra academic actors. So global challenges, we understand, are global problems. They're complex and they require equally complex networks of people, ideas and actions. So extra academic actors is just another way of saying those people who are outside the university sector, but that we're all stakeholders together. So we've academic and then we've extra academic. So in Charmy U, we began this process of designing a new university model by creating educational principles. And like our Charmy U university mission, transdisciplinarity is at the core of this. So this is bringing disciplines together with other voices in society. So just a few of our educational principles. I won't go through them in too much detail this morning, but we are research-led and research-based. Our focus is sustainability. This is a challenge-driven university, and our educational model is challenge-driven and challenge-based. Inclusivity is at our core. It's transnational and intercultural learning, situational authentic learning, technology enhanced, and we are embedding transversal skills in our educational programs and developing those in our staff and in our students. And above all, we're student-centered. So the master's program that we're working on, and just very briefly today, because today's session is about getting together to look at what challenges we think are the most crucial for us at the moment within certain themes aligned with the European Green Deal. So in our master's program, which begins next September, we have 3 phases, and it's the 2 phases, 2 and 3, that we're looking at today. So we've defined problem spaces, and we're looking to come up with challenges that our students can work on with actors in university and with you in society together. So the preparatory phase is developing in our students the skills, disciplinary and transversal skills, to enable them to handle complex challenges. And so our Charmy U graduate is somebody who can create or contribute to the creation of sustainable solutions, who is entrepreneurial and innovative in the broadest sense of the meaning of that term, who can manage complexity. So this is about somebody who can manage complex bodies of knowledge, complex factors, complex data systems, and translate those into action. That means that we need to bring a lot of disciplines together. This is about transversal skills to do that, to knit that information together. This is about having the domain knowledge. This is a master's program, so they have deep knowledge in a domain. And above all, it's challenge focus. So you'll see there some of the skill sets that we'll be developing in students. So as I said, this is about complex networks of people, complex networks of ideas, and complex networks of actions. So how did we come up with our network of ideas? So we are 5 universities with 5 long traditions of research, with an abundance of academic staff, research and professionals working in them. So how did we come together and align ourselves with policy actually to identify the areas that are crucial for Europe at the moment? So we looked, of course, at the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we looked at our own vision and values, and we looked at the European Green Deal in close detail. Also to Horizon Europe missions. Then we went to our own universities, we collated and analysed the research and educational metrics of our 5 universities so that we could say, what are our strengths? What do we think is important? Where have we built up critical mass as a team of 5 universities? We aligned that with our institutional strategies, and in the first instance, we came up with 3 themes. So they are life and health, water and food. And just to give you an example of what we then did with food, we looked at the problem spaces within food aligned with the European Green, particularly the idea of farm to fork. And this will give you an idea of the modules currently in the flexible phase of our masters: the food, health, environment nexus, food systems and their transformations, and socially just and sustainable food systems. So complex network of ideas need complex networks of people. And how do we simplify those networks? Well, we created this term called knowledge creating teams. So these are KCTs. So there are 2 levels to the KCTs. There's the expanded network and there's the core network. So our KCTs are students, they're academics, they're researchers, and as I mentioned, they're extra academic actors. But we needed to have these 2 levels so that we have a core driving engagement with you. So in our first phase, we developed that core from our own academic community. We did a call out to our 5 universities. Over 200 people responded, and from that we created a multidisciplinary core that would create a research and an educational network. So we're now in the second phase where we're engaging with the expanded network, which is academics within our own communities who can help us fill disciplinary gaps, who can help us identify research questions, and then also you, members of our society, members of enterprise, members of our government agencies, so that we can join together in a dialogue about where these challenges are and where we can find the knowledge to address these challenges. So then this brings us to the heart of the educational approach, which is challenge-based learning. So we begin with challenges, and from that we look to build the knowledge architecture to really explore and create solutions to these challenges. So we're building on challenge-based learning, which is an educational approach in which students actively acquire knowledge and apply skills. So this is about real-world, authentic challenges. So the challenges are co-developed, they're investigated, and they're acted upon by this group of people that you see in front of you. So students, our KCTs, our expanded network, the extended network of enterprise and community, and several other transdisciplinary stakeholders. So an idea of what you might go through in the workshop today, and my colleague Jake Byrne will speak to you about this in greater detail in a moment, is we picked one theme of food, and as I mentioned, we have problem spaces within that. So if we take the first as an example, the food, health, environment nexus, what could be the challenges within that nexus? It could be the multifaceted dimension of undernutrition and obesity. In food systems and their transformations, it could be the unsustainability or sustainability of global supply chains of agri-food systems. And in socially just and sustainable food systems, it could be our government-based interventions, taxes, subsidies, regulations. Are they working? How can they work better? So ways in which we would invite you to partner with us, and today you'll be given access to a form where we collate your information and also where we collate the challenges that you come up with today in teams. So some examples of what we're working on. We within the master's program would invite you to take part in defining actual challenges that may align with your own work in your own area, where we can bring our expertise to bear and bring our students to partner with you. We have a winter school in January where we'll be trying out some of these challenges. We're engaged in module development at the moment, and we're looking for extra voices for knowledge, for case studies, for guest lectures. And then in the master's content delivery in September until December 2022, we'll be looking to engage with you as much as we can. So now I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Jake Byrne, who will speak to you about the problem space networking event that we'll engage in shortly.
Thanks, Gemma. So I'm just going to introduce the sort of logistics of the problem space networking event that we're going to go through. So there's a number of tools that we're going to use. So I'm going to sort of walk you through an overview of the event itself and also the tools that we're going to be using. So next slide, please, Gemma. So just as an overview, so this is going to be an opportunity for you to network with various different academics, students, and extra academic actors from business and society, and those who are basically connecting to us via the streaming events, both on YouTube and Facebook. And we're going to be using a separate tool called icebreaker.video for networking events. So you're going to be connected to other individuals during this session. We also want you to help try to define what the problem spaces and big ideas that Charm should be exploring as part of their various themes in water, food, life and health, and the nexus between these. And what we're going to hope from a link from the icebreaker.video sessions is there will be a link to a tool called Padlet, and we're hoping to collate all of those ideas in one space. So both you will be able to have access to it, and we'll be able to use that to inform our processes going forward. In addition to that, as Gemma has mentioned, we also hope to get some of your feedback on potentially areas that you might be interested in engaging in terms of Charm's activities. And also we're looking for suggestions about how maybe we can foster this community into the future as well. So how can we maintain this momentum that we're starting today? Next slide, please. So you will find within the descriptions of the videos, both on Facebook and YouTube, links to the actual events that we're going to engage in. So there'll be a separate link for if you're interested in life and health, a separate one for if you're interested in food, a separate one for water, and again, the nexus, which is the sort of connection between them. So if you're interested in one of those areas, click on the one that is of interest to you, and that'll bring you to the icebreaker.video interface. Again, you will need a YouTube account to log in, and you can create one of these easily enough with any email address. And then you also need to provide access to your audio and video, because you're going to be doing video chats with participants. So again, you're going to be connecting with those other members that are part of this community. Again, you'll have sort of 5 minutes per session, and you'll be asked to join, and you'll get to meet approximately sort of 8 to 9, depending on how many people are in each session. And we're going to spend about 45 minutes in total for this. If you actually connect with individuals via the Icebreaker interface, you will actually get an email after the event, and it will allow you to reconnect with anyone that you met during the session. So if you started an interesting conversation, you'll be able to reconnect afterwards. And that's one of the benefits of logging in using a Google account, is that it'll give you access to this afterwards. So next slide, please. So once you've logged into the icebreaker.video interface, you will be met with a screen that's similar to this. So there will be a chat window, so you can say hi there. But if you're also having any issues, do let us know, and we'll try to address them within that chat window. Next slide, please. So once we start a session, so these are called games, they will happen every sort of 5 to 6 minutes. You have an option to either join the session and you'll be matched with a new person each time, or else you can sit out on that particular round. So just keep an eye on that. If you join a little bit late and you're taking a little while to join in terms of sign-in, don't worry, you'll be able to join in a session once it gets to the next round. Next slide, please. So this is what the interface, once you join a game, you'll be matched with an individual. At the top, sort of, there's a little sort of pink bar where you sort of see the timer notification, and that'll sort of show you how much time is left. And what I will point you to is the flip card on the right-hand side there. So that'll be where the instructions are shown. So I recommend flipping the card as soon as you get into the interface so that you'll see the instructions. Next slide, please. So the first step is, the first and second cards are basically to spend a minute each introducing yourself to your partner. Don't spend any longer than a minute, because we have only 3 minutes for the next activity. If you could go to the next slide, please, Gemma. So the next activity is basically to click on the Padlet link, and this will bring you to a Padlet based around your topic. And what the idea there is to add what is the big problem or problem space that you have identified between yourselves, and what is an example of a challenge as part of that problem space. Next slide, please, Gemma. So when you've actually clicked on it, this is an example of the Padlet. So to add a new item, you just either hit the plus down in the bottom right, or you double click on the background, and that'll create a new block. And we want you to add the problem space or a big idea in the title, and then you can add 1 to 2 example challenges in the text afterwards. And you'll be able to see everyone else adding their contents to this as well. So you'll be able to have an idea about what others are thinking. Next slide, please, Gemma. So as we mentioned, there is also a survey. You can complete this towards the end. It shouldn't take much more than 5 minutes. You could probably even less than that. And as part of that is we want to sort of collate the problem spaces that you're interested in. So we'll be able to contact you afterwards if you've said that you're interested in a particular problem space, and say we choose that for the winter school, we might be in contact with you in relation to that, and we can link people together around these problem spaces. Okay, next slide, please, Gemma. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend about 45 to 50 minutes working on this activity. So these are the links. You will be able to click them again through the description in the on the videos. But if you're having difficulty in that, you should be able to type in those links that I have up on screen. So the bit.ly /charm health, for example, and then the survey link is also listed there. If you do reach capacity on one of the rooms, there are separate additional links in the description around Nexus and life and health. So hopefully we won't get to that. And again, if you're having any issues, just let us know in the chat windows, either in the stream or within the icebreaker.video interface. So I think we're going to pause it there, and we're going to go over to the icebreaker sessions, and we'll try to start you networking there as soon as possible. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I think that was an interesting session where there was some interesting ideas shared. I'm going to pass over to my colleague Jan, who's going to just walk through some of the outputs from the session. And we outputted them on Padlets under the various different themes.
Yes, thank you, Jake. Yes, before we start, first I want to apologize because, yes, we tried to use some new tooling to activate the participants and to get real contributions from all of the participants. We know that it is difficult. Sometimes it's new, this kind of tooling. Maybe not all of you were very good able to use all the possibilities for collaboration, but we really want to mention to you that we really want your support and your contributions. So please, if you have suggestions or ideas later on, please let us know, send us an email, because we really want to get your information and to get your contributions to our Charm U Masters program. Okay, that's before we start. Yes, we have quite some interesting results, and I would like to start with food. Jake, can you get the Padlet results of food?
Yes. Can we share my screen? I have it up.
Yep. I cannot read it, but you cannot blow it. Oh, you can blow it up a little bit. Yes. We got quite some responses on the theme of food, and really interesting ones. What I found most interesting overall is that from very different disciplines, from very different perspectives and angles, there are problem spaces announced. And that's really what we want, a transdisciplinary way of our master program, our teaching and learning, and also the contribution from a broad variety of perspectives. So yes, we got quite a lot. A few I would like to mention, something about circular economy, circular agriculture. How can we support farmers to change into new techniques? Yes, we need some kind of incentives. Communications play an important role. Also entrepreneurial skills. These changes is a really big challenge. So it would be very interesting for us if we could work on that topic a bit further, together with collaboration from external stakeholders, to find out really good problem spaces which we can use in our education. Then another part is supply change, shorten change maybe, maybe using more local food. How can we distribute food? also in a more sustainable way to get the food to consumers more easily. Different disciplines play a role. Technical, there is some part on more technical, agri-tech, it mentioned, where engineering, communication, economy, sociological aspects play an important role. So I think this is a very interesting result of this first having external stakeholders connected to us, have them contacted with each other. I don't know if there are further questions or suggestions. Maybe you, Gemma, or Jake?
Do you know what I found really interesting about this was somebody made a very concrete suggestion about replacing tractors with another form of like mini drones, which is an area that I'm not familiar with at all. But I just love that in this brainstorming space, somebody with that kind of approach or that kind of thought style, that's what they were automatically so pragmatic about it, something that seems to me achievable, but something which I could never get even close to in terms of understanding. So you're right, I think, Jan, it's about getting all those perspectives in together and then also putting the emphasis on action or on innovation, which is really important part of this. It's great to see something, a tool like this coming to some proposed solution so quickly.
Yes. I would just finalize this theme with explain that we already with a core team of academics, also from multidisciplinary angles, had some ideas of modules for this food theme. And these problem spaces which are on the Padlet can be very useful for our modules. We are going to work more in depth in the coming months. Just to mention the 3 modules and some topics we are working on. One is on food health environment nexus. The food nexus and highlights of how food, human and ecosystem health and social justice are connected. And I saw some of the problem spaces are very much connected to this module. Then another module is on food systems and their transformations, approaches and examples to design and evaluate food systems transformations. And the third one is social just and sustainable food systems, ways to implement and monitor policy and social actions to ensure and promote sustainable food systems. We are very happy with this first collection of getting problem spaces for this team. Shall we now go to the water theme? Well, the water theme has a bit fewer problem spaces, but nevertheless, it is also, like in food, very interesting to see that from different disciplines and different perspectives, those problem spaces are announced. And what is also interesting in this, that it is sometimes quite local, like healthy urban living, urbanization, but sometimes also much broader issues which are announced in this tablet. And to give you an idea of the modules on water, what we have the basics now as ideas for the modules, and these topics who are in this Padlet are also related to that. So we have a module idea of extremes in water cycle and their complex consequences synopsis. Challenge area is then much more on climate change, and a module on adaptation measures and strategies in water management, a challenge area on water security, which is also a part of this, one of the problem spaces which is announced in the palette. And then resilient cities, water in urban environments synopsis, challenge areas urbanization. And I don't know which are the ones who came up with these subjects, problem spaces, but we would like very much to keep in contact with the ones who are engaged in this Padlet. So now go to the life and health. Well, this is not a lot of people who joined in this session. Hopefully we will get in contact with more organizations from connected to life and health. There will be a lot, and we would like very much to get more ideas on problem spaces for life and health. And now maybe the Nexus. We have interesting parts in this Nexus. Actually, one I found really interesting that came up with creating a sense of belonging. How can we get the students involved? And there are some ideas how we can set up activities with students from our universities, working out ideas, problem spaces they want to work on. And that's also what we are working on within CHIMEU to get the students very much connected to our development of our master, our modules. And we really want to get the students engaged and connected and maybe co-create with us modules and education ideas. Maybe even students can work on these ideas and then later on, September 2021, start the master where they already worked on by themselves in the development of the master. That would be really an interesting approach. And we would like to emphasize this approach amongst the students. Please let us know on what way you would like to be involved, and we are going to organize that. I'd like to finalize with try asking you all participants, but also people in your surrounding, your environment. We really want to get connected with external stakeholders, expanded network, academics, students. So please let us know if you want to join and to play a role in our master program, the development, the reviewing of the development of modules or maybe on another way. Please let us know, and we will try to find a way how we can connect and work together in the further development of the program of our master. And we have a survey you can fill out. Please do that. And if you have any suggestions or ideas, please let us know. Jake or Gemma, anything to add?
Just like to thank everyone for participating in the networking event. I think you can see from the comments that there was a lot of interest and exciting ideas that were generated. And again, I'll just emphasize the survey. We'll put a link again in the comments just momentarily. And again, in the description, there's a link to that survey. And that's a great way for us to be able to link the problem spaces that you came up with to yourself and be able to get directly in contact with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thanks.